Shalom, family trendsetter. All praises be to the Most High. I'm driving, so you'll hear some noise in the background. Please bear with me. Now, as we get closer and closer to the election, in this case, I'm going to call it an election, not a selection, because, the first time around, I believe anyway. So, we're getting closer to this election, right here in the United States of America. And I guess the way out things is polling right now is polling more towards Kamala Harris. But because I know the history of this country and these idiotic people, these so-called high IQ people, how they are, in the end, it can pretty much gear towards Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Because one thing I know for certainty is that America and the world itself is not ready for a woman commander-in-chief, especially of colors persuasion, right? I can't really say black persuasion because she's not really black, she's mixed. But they're not ready for a colored woman, to be the most powerfulest woman in the world. They're not ready for that shit. But should it happen, let's say, should she get the vote, she still have to worry about herself, because look who's in line to replace her. It's a white man. So as we watch the temperature with this political arena, this distraction with Donald Trump, right? I'm listening to this man. Right? On occasion, they'll, show clips on the news, on the internet, and how you see this goofy rambling and some of the shit he talks about. Now, I know he's up in age, it's probably going to seem, when you get a certain age and shit, you're not really there. Your cognizant is not really there. But I'm just listening to some of the stuff this man is spewing. And I was saying to myself, if this man wants to get another 4 years in office, like ruling this country, ruling this world primarily, right? Like, what kind of situation we're going to be in? Because I'm not talking about necessarily his racism and his divisiveness and his, stance on what is it called, the border and immigration. I'm just talking about just his mindset. His mindset is bugged the fuck out. Like, my nephew is a Gemini, right? Nothing against Gemini people, because not all people are alike. But my nephew, every time we get on a debate stage, every time we start debating about a particular topic, especially religion, right? Trying to explain to this goofy, because he swear I'm going to hell because I don't believe in Jesus Christ and whatever. He claims he's an Israelite, but then he say, well, he believes in Jesus Christ, and, we can't really put a color on Jesus Christ. I know I'm a little bit off topic. Can't put really a color on Jesus Christ because nobody ever seen him. But according to their accounts, right? According to the New Testament that was written by the Council of Nicaea, a bunch of goofies that came together, a bunch of Romans anyway, and people from other walks of life came together and they came up with this book because they didn't like the Old Testament. Old Testament, let's say the Book of Remembrance, Old Testament laws were given to one group of people, which was the Israelite, and they didn't get that law, so they didn't have to deal with that law, so they came up with their own shit. They came up with their own God, Jesus Christ. So I was explaining to this idiot, like, this is my nephew I'm talking about. I said, listen, when our ancestors was abducted, kidnapped by these hybrids, and brought here to the Americas and just all over the world, right? Whatever language these hybrids spoke, right? You had the Portuguese, you had the Spaniards, you had the European, whatever language they spoke. Did our ancestors know these languages? Did our ancestors know English and Portuguese or Spanish or French? No, they didn't know it. It was taught to them. But one thing these hybrids had in common was their God, their white God, Jesus, because they believe Jesus is God. Many of them, if not all, if not most, then, right? So I'm breaking it down to them. So I asked them a question. I said, did we know their language? And the Bible said we're going to go to another, go to captivity. I'm paraphrasing, right? With another nation that our father knew not. Now, we knew Esau. We knew that they can't say it was the Egyptians, because we knew them, right? We were sojourning in their land, so it was another nation from far, swift of the eagle, right? So I was explaining to him that it couldn't have been none other than the so-called white man that took us into captivity, because of course it's proven that they took us into captivity. So I asked him, I said, did we know their language? He said no. So if we didn't know their language, we damn sure ain't gonna know their religious system. We didn't know anything about Christianity. We ain't know none of that shit. So that religion was taught to us. Now I know many people may argue and say, well, religion been out there for a long time because Ethiopians have the oldest religion, have the oldest Bible. That's true enough. But again, the Europeans, when they invade certain lands, and I know they didn't invade Ethiopia. Ethiopia was the only country that was not colonized, right? But they still had some influence. Now I don't know the version of Christianity that the Ethiopian deals with, but let's say they did have a religion. I'm sure the white man probably got a hold of that information, and they create their own shit. Because you know, white men don't have no originality. They don't. And I hate to say it to y'all, I know a lot of y'all probably watching me and shit, they don't hate me, but y'all don't. Y'all steal ideas, y'all steal inventions and everything, right? And put a brand on the shit. So I was explaining to him that we didn't know none of this shit. So we didn't know their language. We damn sure not gonna know who their God is. Cause how the fuck can we know their God when we never met these idiots before, these hybrids before? And I guess at that point he agreed with that particular notion. But in the end, after all, we went through all the debate, all the point that was made, telling them that in the Bible, Jesus said, I did not come. First I asked him, I said, is Jesus the Prince of Peace according to him? Of course, Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Okay, then why did Jesus say, I did not come to bring peace on earth, but to bring a sword, to divide and conquer and bring mothers against daughters? And I showed him the scripture, right? I told him in the Bible where Jesus Christ basically said that, you know, there should some be standing here, should not taste death until the Son of Man came into the kingdom, whatever. And all those people 2,000 years that he promised that wouldn't taste death, they all died. So I was telling him that the New Testament is just a book that was created by the Romans, right? The Romans, the Council of Nicaea. I asked him, I said, who's the Council of Nicaea? He didn't know. So I said, okay, let's research it. And he researched it, and sure enough, it wasn't no fucking Israelites. It wasn't no black people. So I'm explaining to him that the God that was given to us is not our power. It's not the Most High. It's not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And after all that shit, because of his ideology, right? Not ideology, but ideology, he believes that he's a Christian. He said, well, I said, oh, you an Israelite? He said, no, I'm a Christian. First he said he was an Israelite, and he said he's a Christian. And I left it at that, right? So he kind of reminded me of Trump. You know what I'm saying? Because I said I wouldn't even be surprised if Trump is a Gemini. And sure enough, when I researched it, Trump was a Gemini. You know, narcissist people. And my nephew is very, very narcissistic. He believes he's God's gift to women. He brags about how many women he's been with, how many, you know, women he took away. And I'm saying, is that something to be proud of? You know what I'm saying? That's the narcissist behavior or the traits with these people. Again, for the record, not saying all Geminis are the same. But the sign of Gemini, I know a lot of y'all Christian, Hebrew Christians, like, why is he talking about Zodiac? And why is he... Man, fuck that shit. That shit was in place. That shit, they use it and tell you not to do it. Do you realize that everything that the so-called white man religion tell you not to do, they actually do it? Do you know that? They don't want you doing it because that shit was originally ours. It worked for us. So, of course, something worked for us and can work against them. They're going to tell us, oh, they're going to demonize this shit and tell, oh, well, Jesus Christ is against us. And Christianity, man, fuck Christianity. Christianity is a pagan religion that was constituted by Constantine, and which was a pagan, and whoever was following whatever sect. Because remember, there are so many different religions. One God, but there's so many different religions. So I say F-U-C-K to Christianity. Christianity ain't doing nothing for black folks. Matter of fact, Christianity was responsible for putting us in slavery, right? The white man's religion. So, back to Trump. So I was listening, I'm listening to this motherfucker. I'm saying to myself, damn, is this the one that they really are considering bringing back into the office of the presidency? The way how he thinks, the shit that he talk about Hannibal Lecter and talking about fucking Magnus in water and talk about windmills causing cancer, and then of course, you know, the famous one the other day where you talk about Asian eating cats and dogs and shit, and the way how he was just adamant about the shit, like, you know, like, you know, he had a lot of passion towards it because some shit that he heard, it sounds good to him, just like my nephew. Christianity sounds good to him and shit. One more thing about my nephew, right? Before I continue, I'm about to close out. Then my nephew said to me, well, you know why I believe in Jesus Christ? Because based on my lifestyle back in the day, you know what I'm saying? I believe that I was getting spiritually attacked on a regular basis. And every time I call on the name Jesus Christ, the spiritual attack would end. So I explained to him, Jesus Christ is none other than Lucifer, right? He go by many names, Beelzebub, Baphomet, whatever you want to call Satan. Lucifer don't give a shit what you call him, as long as you give him the praises. And I told him in the Bible, it says Satan is the god of this world. So Satan is basically just a spirit, right? And I believe that what they have done, they have put that word Satan in the Bible deliberately because they want to throw us off from who really is ruling this world, which is Lucifer, because he was the one that was kicked out of heaven according to the Bible, right? So in Isaiah, right? So I was explaining to him, of course, if these lower demons that actually left, according to the story now, right, when Satan, let's just keep it as Satan. When Satan was kicked out of heaven, you had 1/3 of the angels actually followed him. So if these angels had loyalty to Satan, aka Lucifer, aka Jesus Christ, and they came to earth, where we're living at today, because we're also fallen angels, that's why we're residing in the same place that their punishment was, right? And I was telling him, I said, of course, if one of these rogue demons decide to attack your ass, or Lucifer, aka Satan, aka Jesus Christ, could have sent this attack. And then when you call on this name, Jesus Christ, and of course these demons know who the fuck Jesus Christ is. It's the lieutenant, not even a lieutenant. It's a general then, which is Satan, right? He's a commander in chief of these demons. So if they hear this name and you invoking his name, they know they gotta back off. It's just like when these damn Catholic people use the cross to do exorcism and they speaking in unknown fucking tongue called Latin or whatever, some unknown old ancient language and shit, right? They invoking a higher demon to exercise a lower demon. Then he said, well, there's a passage in the Bible that Satan cannot be against himself or whatever. Nah, that's what they wrote. You know what I'm saying? So he was saying that's why he believes in Jesus Christ. Everything. And my nephew, that motherfucker, when I tell you he is out there, that's how I know he ain't serving the Most High. Because this dude he's married, he's still cheating on his wife, he's still popping bottles, he's still hoeing. So I know for a fact this Jesus that he worshiped this Jesus because this Jesus allowed him, because they say according to the Bible, right? It's in the New Testament, 70 times 7, he won't forget. All you got to do is believe in shit. So he believed in Jesus Christ so he can do his sin and ask for forgiveness later. And that's why I think a lot of Christians hold on to this fucking religion or this idol called Jesus Christ, because they know they can get away with shit. When you're under the law, statutes, and commandments, you can't do certain things. You feel me? So back to Trump, and in closing, so I'm thinking to myself like, damn, is this the dude that these people are really rallying behind to become the next commander in chief, to give him another chance to fucking tear this country apart, knowing about Project 25? A lot of these goofies that support him, they're Second Amendment believers, right? They believe in the right to bear arms. They really think that if Trump get back into office, he gonna leave it out there where he can have a resistance when he start doing his bullshit, and these goofies wake up, realize, because these high IQ people are not really smart, they're dumb as fuck. That's why they need a test to solidify that they're smart. When they realize that this man is not what he said he was going to be, and they try to revolt, man, this man gonna put them in place where they're gonna take away their guns. And these devils, they love their guns because they're cowards. You know what I'm saying? By nature, they're very, they're cowards. They're coward as fuck. That's why as soon as they confront a black man, the first thing they want to do is take him up, because by nature, spiritually, they are scared of us. They are inferior to us. Talk about we're inferior to them. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to share my thoughts for the day and shit. Yeah, I really can't see. I think if Trump get another term, I'm bouncing. I'm going back to Jamaica. I'm heading out of here. I'm going back to either one of them islands and shit. I'm out of here, because there's no way in hell I'm going to be here having this dictator rule over me. I don't want nobody ruling over me. The only person that can rule over me is the Most High. That's it. But anyway, family, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. With that, I say shalom.